my first question for you, and I think this is a really exciting time to have you on the podcast because apparently there's a lot going on right now with the writer's strike. So that's going to be my first question for you today, because I've been sort of hearing about this, but myself, who is not so much involved with film, I sort of hear things, but I'm not so involved with it. Can you tell me in your words, what is the writer's strike that happened in 2023? What caused it? What is it about? And why did it just end yesterday?
Yes, I'm glad you brought this up because I find that there's a lot of misinformation online. I think a lot of people who maybe feel disenfranchised by the superhero blockbuster films, they think that this strike doesn't matter and they can just replace people, that write better films. Just because we've gotten a few bad apples with these, big blockbusters doesn't mean those are the only writers in the guild. And, any TV show you like that, The Bear or anything that's even maybe more indie, this is to protect the writers from AI and also for streaming residuals, because in the era of cable, after 5 years of a sitcom or a series being on television, you would get residual checks. And streaming kind of changed all of that. I know Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, I know he's an actor, so this has to do with the actor strike, but it's very similar. Aaron Paul tweeted the fact that when Netflix just started to show Breaking Bad, because it used to be on AMC on cable, and then it was that I watched Breaking Bad on Netflix. That was the way I experienced it. He didn't get any money from that. Like, no one got money from Netflix from Breaking Bad, and that was one of the biggest shows ever on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So it's things like that, and then of course with AI, that's really the biggest issue right now too. So it's really just preventative measures so that writers are protected for the next 25 years, at least,
So just to clarify, because I'm kind of absorbing all this, not knowing much about it, the protection against AI, is that to protect their jobs from being replaced from AI, or specifically to protect the amount of pay that they're getting, or both?
It's both, yeah. So, yes, to protect the jobs. You probably can't write a film solely using AI currently, but we're getting really close to that. But when does humanity really get shown? When it's just AI kind of faking it. So you have some brilliant writers that feel that their jobs will become obsolete. And I can see both sides of the coin. Yeah, like, why would I need to hire a writer if I can just tell a computer to write a movie? But I think that there's something about the human experience that is crucial to screenwriting. And that's what their biggest concern is.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, the AI and the emergence of AI is affecting so many different people right now. I think right now we're in a state of, it's clear that AI is going to become better and bigger and stronger. We just have no idea in which ways that is going to happen. This is like a bigger conversation for another time. I want to stick specifically to more film questions, but just like side tangent really quick. There's so many different opinions out there about AI. Is it going to be better for society? Is it going to be worse for society? There's like so much to get into there. I guess probably a mix of both. And I think the conversations we're having right now are very important, because I think having these conversations now are going to move things in the direction that they potentially need to go into to protect AI from making society something bad or making society worse. I think it could go either way. Like, I think AI could be a very beneficial thing for society. Like, for example, there's just little things that, like, I'm Ubering right now. Okay. That's not something I could have been able to do without my cell phone. So it's like, okay, in some ways I'm very grateful for artificial intelligence or the smartphone and everything like that. But as things progress and get bigger and better with AI, there's just like so much there's so much unknown territory that we have no idea what we're getting ourselves into. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think it's utilizing it in a way that helps us get the work done more efficiently. If you want to write a film and you want to use AI to do the outlining of things like that, or even if you want to use AI to help block something out and you're a little caught with something, you can make things happen more efficiently in a lot of ways. using AI. But if we're talking about completely replacing the human brain for writing, then I think that's when it causes problems. But I agree with you. I'm not like terrified of AI or anything like that.
Yeah. So also to ask more about the writer strike, you were saying earlier today, you're like the writer strike just suddenly stopped. Can you explain more about that as well?
Yes. This past weekend, they were in negotiations, and they kind of came to an agreement. I believe it was either early yesterday or last evening. It was announced. It still says tentative just because legally, like, the paperwork hasn't been signed on this deal. But everyone is assuming at this point that it is over. I mean, no one's going to be picketing anymore as far as that's concerned. The actors' strike is still going to continue, but because the writer's strike seems to have come to an end, and everyone seems to be really happy on both sides, that means that the actors' strike should be ending, I would say, in the next month or 6 weeks. It'll end sooner than later.
Are there fears of AI replacing actors? Is that a thing too?
Oh yes, big time. The one time I see it happening currently, which makes sense to me, is for someone like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. I like using this example because if you play a character like that, you become an iconic pop culture IP. And so they could take Paul Rudd as Ant-Man and put him in any type of superhero movie they want at that point if they want him to show up in the future or like show it for 2 seconds. I understand that. And I'm sure he got paid something for that. The thing is you can in the future just scan someone, like, let's take I don't know, any actor you like. Let's just take Leonardo DiCaprio for 5 seconds. We body scan Leonardo DiCaprio, and then we can just have a fake an AI written film and have the words come out of Leonardo DiCaprio's mouth and he never was there. You know what I mean?
They can just take the image. They could take the image of these actors and they could it's one, I mean, I'm not agreeing with anything, disagreeing either way. It's one, but just like side note, it's one thing to create your own like AI people with their own identity, I guess, but to actually take an already existing human being and use their body, use their voice, because I'm sure these AIs could also replicate their speaking voice, and then use that to actually create a film like that. There should be a protection against that. That's terrible. I mean, imagine like what could go wrong.